Hello everybody, welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I'm Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And yes indeed, this is my first video back since I fell ill, and I'm going to make this a very special one. This is going to be the first video in a multi-part series talking about my introduction to diabetes. As many of you know, I fell really ill and found out that I had a blood sugar level of over 1100. Spent some time in the intensive care unit before getting out, and am now considered a type 2 diabetic. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of take you guys and explain what happened to me and how my life has changed since that happened. Why do I want to do that? Well, I got to be honest, this was very scary. Of course, there was the mortality issue that frightened me, but moreover, I was really concerned about my family. Watching my wife have to deal with this stuff, and my sons and daughter and everybody around me, it just is something I couldn't bear, and so it really shook me up a little bit. The other reason I want to do this is, having moved into this new world, I've found that all the information on diabetes, type 1, type 2, and such, how to eat, how to take care of yourself and whatnot, is so convoluted, with so many people telling you so many different things, and nobody really just cutting to the meat and potatoes of it and saying, this is what you got to do. All right? So what I want to do is, today I'm going to talk to you about the illness, how it came on, and how I got to here. Then I'm going to talk in other videos about coming home from the hospital, what I found out, the experiences I'm having, and just different things on the topic. Now, that doesn't mean Fat Guy Productions is going to change, because I was never fat. Well, I am fat, but that was never why I was Fat Guy Productions. That was not the meaning of Fat Guy Productions. So I'm always going to be Fat Guy Productions, and no, this isn't going to turn into a channel about diabetes, although it is going to start to feature some videos on the subject. But I'm still going to be doing coin rings and die casts and all sorts of hobbies and stuff like that. This was just the first video I really felt like doing, and it really, as you may remember, I was working on my work area before I fell ill, and it's still not done. I get tired really fast, and so it's slow going. But this was a video that I could do, especially since I was going to be out here filling some ring orders. I thought this was the perfect opportunity. Okay, so let me take you back in time 6 months to a year. My doctor was warning me that if I didn't change my ways, I was going to find myself pre-diabetic or diabetic. And I guess I can't really say I tried. It's not like I didn't try, but I sure didn't put a lot of effort into it. I guess I just couldn't see the forest through the trees. And so I didn't really put a lot of effort into changing my ways, and my blood sugar continued to rise. And about a month ago, my doctor didn't like the numbers, and so she said, I'm calling you pre-diabetic, and I'm going to put you on a medicine called metformin, which is a diabetic medicine. So I did do something at that point. I started seeing the nutritionist at my doctor's office, and I started taking the metformin. And about that time, I started feeling poorly. Now, I had noticed that I was losing a little bit of weight already through my work with the nutritionist, but not what I would soon experience. So like I said, I started feeling poorly, and I couldn't understand what was going on. I was attributing it to the metformin, because some of the side effects include loss of appetite and, you know, not feeling well, stuff like that. So I chalked it all up to that, and just kind of tried to forge ahead. I wasn't eating anymore. Weight started to fly off. I was losing anywhere from 1 pound to 3 pounds a day. And, you know, I was not eating regular meals. I just did not feel like eating. And this was really where everything started. Because what was happening is, by not eating, I was not getting any complex carbohydrates. And because I knew I needed to eat something, I started making really bad choices. I was eating massive amounts of fruit. I was drinking loads of fruit juice, water, sodas. My thirst was rising. I was becoming insatiable and could not drink enough. So I'm not eating real meals. Everything I am eating is heavy sugar loads, and I'm drinking like a fish heavy sugar loads. Well, what was happening is I was just getting pure sugar into my body, and my glucose was going higher and higher and higher. Well, when that happens, your body wants to get rid of that sugar it doesn't need, and so you start to pee it out. And when you do that, sugar is a real jerk and likes to take water with it against its will. It's sort of like kidnapping the water. So you're peeing out all this sugar and all this water, and so what's happening now is you're dehydrating. So your water is going this way and your sugar is going this way, and nothing good is going to come from that. So as that's happening, I'm feeling worse and worse and worse. I'm super, my energy level is 0, okay? I get exhausted doing the simplest thing, climbing the stairs in my house. I get to the top of the staircase, I'm exhausted, and now it's triggering my lung disease that I got from the fire service. And so I'm up at the top of the stairs, panting and trying to catch my breath. I'm exhausted, and you know, it's just spiraling out of control. Well, one of the meds that my lung doctors give me is, if I get ill, it can be really bad for my lungs. So they keep me on a maintenance set of an antibiotic and a steroid, so that if I get sick, I can immediately start taking it without having to do anything. So I had a set of that, and I didn't know what was wrong with me at this point. So I decided to take a round of antibiotics and steroid. Huge mistake. The steroid is like some maniac, and it goes into your body and it starts wreaking havoc with your sugars. So, okay, I've got my sugars stealing all my water. I've got this maniac steroid in my body just riling everybody up. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. The day that I went to the hospital, I had gone to the store over the weekend and didn't think I could make it home. I thought I was going to have to call my family to come get me because I was that weak. I managed to push through and get home. And my wife said, "You look terrible." And this was on a weekend. And she said, "I don't care what's happening. On Monday morning, you're calling the doctor. And if your doctor is in the office, they're going to see you. You don't take no for an answer. You got to see her first thing Monday." So Monday morning came around, and I called for an appointment. They got me in at about 10:30 in the morning, and she took a look at me and ordered stat blood work and stat CT scans of my chest and abdomen and pelvis. So I got the blood work right there because there's a lab there. So I went and got the blood work, and even though it was stat, it was going to take like 3 hours. So she said, "Go on home." So I was at home, and it ended up about 3 o'clock. We got a call from the doctor's office saying, your glucose is over 1100. Get to the ER. So we packed up. My wife drove me to the emergency room, and they took me back immediately and whisked me up to ICU. I remember getting something in the range of 6 liters of IVs, 2 bags at a time, to try and rehydrate me because I was so dehydrated, along with insulin and pushes and drips and all this other stuff. It was a long night. Up in the intensive care unit, they tested my blood every single hour, and they would give me the finger stick, and because my blood sugar was so high, it wouldn't register on their machines, so then they'd have to send the lab up every hour to then do a blood draw. So I was getting the finger stick and a blood draw every hour. I was getting anticoagulants since I was going to be laying around doing nothing. They were giving me, IV fluids and you name it. They had me on the heart monitor. They took me down for ultrasounds on my organs and stuff like that. And it just was all in all a miserable and scary night. I couldn't eat. It was just not a fun experience. They eventually got my blood sugars down into the 500 range. The next day in the afternoon, they moved me down to the floor where I stayed until they got my blood sugar down to around the 300 range, where they discharged me and sent me home. Now, I don't mind telling you, I was afraid this whole time. I was nervous, I was emotional, I felt so bad. I believe when I got to the doctor's office on Monday morning, I believe she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "I think I'm dying," which is not a good thing. When people say that, there's usually something really bad going on. And in my case, there was something really bad going on. So at the end of the day, they finally released me, and I was able to come home to a whole new life, essentially. That I'll talk about in additional videos, but the bottom line is what I went through was unnecessary, was scary, and it was not something that you want to do. And if your doctor starts to warn you about your sugars, there's so many things you can do to prevent from being like me. And that's why I'm doing these videos. I don't want anybody to have to go through this if they don't have to. And I'm telling you, not only can you do it, it's not all that difficult. Nobody's asking you to give up everything in the world that you enjoy. All right? You don't need to do that. But you do need to make some changes to your life, and it's easy enough to do. Anyhow, that's what happened to me. So now I'm home, I'm living this new life, and we'll talk about it in future videos. As to the rest of the channel, just a quick update. My room is coming along. My wife is helping me get stuff done, and I hope to be cranking out hobbies again very shortly. I appreciate all the support from everybody, the comments, the wishes, the calls, especially my partners at Three Blind Mice, George and Lee. Thank you guys for being there for me. I really felt it. It meant a lot to me, and I'm grateful for all of you, and I do consider you all good friends, and I can't thank you enough. All right, that's enough for today. In the next video, though, I promise a really fun die-cast build. You're not going to want to miss that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This is Paul from Fat Guy Productions. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, click the little bell to be notified anytime I release a new video. All right, until next time, have a great and healthy, wonderful day. Be good.